Hey, this is Blondeguygamer and welcome to a new mini-series called Kickback, where I give some quick thoughts on games I got through Kickstarter or other crowdfunding sites like it. And to kick things off, that was bad. The first Kickstarter game I received after its completion is Neverending Nightmares, made by Infinitap Games and released on September 26, 2014. During its Kickstarter campaign the year before, the studio's lead designer, Matt Gildenbach, pitched Neverending Nightmares as a horror game conceived from his own depression and OCD tendencies, which he struggled with even further after poor sales with his previously made game Retrograde. Fortunately, the Kickstarter for Neverending Nightmares met its goal with over $100,000 and came onto Steam and the Ouya a year later, the former which is what we'll be looking at here. Now, I did do a video on the public demo a couple years ago, and I am admittedly late to the party talking about the full game when it's been out for over a year. Plus, my buddy SDXCR already did a quick video on the game when it did come out, but I figured I'd start with the first game I got from Kickstarting and that it would be appropriate for Halloween. In Neverending Nightmares, you play as Thomas Smith, a man in the 1880s that is perpetually trapped within his own nightmares revolving around his sister Gabrielle, acts of self-harm, and many other disturbing things that progressively get worse as the game goes on. In terms of the gameplay, it's pretty straightforward. You move from one area to the next and can interact with color objects, such as doorknobs into rooms or candles that are needed for dark areas. Initially, Thomas cautiously walks and can sprint, but only in short bursts as the character has asthma and is limited in his athletic abilities. Though running is only ever mandatory in getting away from certain enemies, and even then most are required to sneak past. If you do run into these guys, you simply wake up in a nearby bed before those areas, acting as checkpoints. Reflecting on the gameplay, the controls are also simple, with movement, sprint, and interaction buttons. In my first playthrough when the game came out, I used the keyboard and that was fine, but in my second playthrough for this recording, I used a controller, a Logitech F310 to be precise, and found it to be the preferred control method for a game like this, but not necessarily required. Besides, any sort of complex game mechanics is not Neverending Nightmares' focus. The horror is, and it's pretty effective. The game uses a black and white hand-drawn art style, with colored interactable objects and highlighting red for blood, not unlike Mad World. The best aspect of this style has to be the lighting system, depicting darkness as lines of shading, giving it that feel of oppression and not quite knowing what lurks in the dark. Coupled with the disturbing scenery and encounters, and you have what I consider to be a pretty tense game, one that doesn't come across as a cliched indie horror game. Granted, there are some jump scares here and there, but they work and are done far apart from each other not feel obnoxious. Then there's the sound design, and oh boy. Sound is one of the key essentials to make me go on edge during a horror game, and Neverending Nightmares has it in spades. From the haunting music to the various background sounds and ambience to the noises of upcoming dangers, it's great and melds with the visuals perfectly to create that uneasy psychological horrors are known for. While I did enjoy the game and its descent into madness, the only problem I had is that it's a short game and can be beaten in a couple of hours. Although to encourage replays, there are 3 endings and multiple paths to them, but with the chapter select, finding all the paths and getting all 3 endings won't take much time, and the game only has 4 Steam achievements, so it's pretty easy to complete. Still, I had a good enough time with Neverending Nightmares, and the story did take some interesting turns that gave me some chills along the way, not to mention being a little shocked and disturbed by some of the imagery shown, in a good way, which I won't show a lot at once in this video to prevent spoilers. If anything, Neverending Nightmares is a game I recommend from a horror indie game standpoint, so if you're in the mood for a short but sweet game for Halloween or otherwise, then this game might do the trick. Or treat. That one's even worse, I'll just stop. At the very least, it's distinct compared to the plethora of cheap webcam scare horror games that are a dime a dozen these days on Steam. And it would seem that Mr. Gildenbach isn't done with horror games, as a successor to Neverending Nightmares called Devastating Dreams was pitched on Kickstarter back in July, which, unlike Neverending Nightmares, did not get funded. And that's a shame because I like games like these and hope that Devastating Dreams does come back into full fruition someday. Until then, we do have Neverending Nightmares to fill our black and white horror needs, and I wish Infinitap the best of luck on their future endeavors. Hope you all enjoyed this little review, have a happy Halloween, and look forward to the next game for Kickback, which will be a spiritual successor to a certain point-and-click adventure game and should come out sometime soon. Later.